OMG, what the? What's up, everyone? You just entered the realm of Izzy Lands. Wight, it's your boy Izzy, and I'm here to bring you all another awesome, and I mean awesome, video. We are covering none other than the most recent All Elite Wrestling pay-per-view, All Out. It was this past Sunday. We saw plenty of great matches and a level of absolute insanity. I mean, epic proportions. If you would have asked me,
"Hey Izzy, what would you consider to be your favorite match in All Out?"
and I would be like, I can't tell you. There's so many to choose from. I don't have just one favorite. I mean, sure, you got some of those matches that are like, but others?
W moment. Fire.
I mean, the pay-per-view started off strong and ended strong. And we're definitely going to talk about that. And we're starting off with Eddie Kingston versus Miro for the AEW TNT Championship. Now, I'll admit, this match surprised me. I underestimated it, and I underestimated Eddie Kingston, but man, it was epic. It was badass. Not to mention, the promo segments leading up to this were mwah. The match was an absolute slugfest. There were a lot of stiff hits and suplexes, but Eddie Kingston, he pretty much killed Miro's chest because it was turning purple. Eddie pretty much said,
"Hey, someone needs to call an ambulance."
But not for me.
Unfortunately, the ref got distracted. Miro took a cheap shot, and he retained the TNT Championship. But kudos to Eddie Kingston. I mean, that guy, he's a tough dude. But up next, we have the purveyor of violence, Jon Moxley, versus New Japan's own Satoshi Kojima. So we know that for quite some time, AEW has swung open the forbidden door. They had some of their people from their company go to other promotions, honing their craft, and that includes Jon Moxley. He even at one point came to New Japan and won the New Japan Intercontinental Championship. And Moxley pretty much issued an open challenge to anyone who's willing to walk through that forbidden door, especially those from New Japan. And lo and behold, out comes Satoshi Kojima. The match itself was also a slugfest, only this time Jon Moxley was on the receiving end, cause his chest was getting slammed and bruised up by Satoshi Kojima. He was going to town on him. They weren't holding any punches. Moxley, I mean, he has an array of skills himself. We were putting Kojima in the sleeper, doing all these things, and Moxley ended up pulling the wind. But oh, it doesn't end there. After the match was over, Kaze Ninare starts echoing throughout the arena, and in comes one of the most feared and dangerous men in this business, and I would argue he's up there with Haku, and that is none other than Miro freaking Suzuki. He stepped into the building, he made his presence known, especially to Jon Moxley. They were face to face, and they weren't holding any punches either. This was right after the match. It was wild. They were trading serious blows, and then later we get word that tonight on Dynamite, Jon Moxley will be facing Miro Suzuki in his hometown of Cincinnati, Ohio. Next up, we have Dr. Britt Baker versus Kris Stratlander for the AEW Women's Championship. I don't know, there's not much to say about that match. I actually skipped over it.
I missed the part where that's my problem.
I believe Orange Cassidy, had this moment with Kris Stratlander where he was like really giving her some strong pep talk, like, get in there, all this stuff. But yeah, so Dr. Britt Baker won. It was to be expected. Following that, we have the Lucha Brothers versus the Young Bucks in a steel cage for the AEW World Tag Team Championships. I gotta say that this match was so bloody, gory, gritty that even the most hardcore extreme wrestlers will watch that and go, damn! There were points in the match where I thought the Lucha Bros weren't going to make it and the Young Bucks were going to win it. But surprisingly, the Lucha Bros managed to pull it off, and they became your new tag team champions. And it was a long time coming. Even though, like, I was already pulling for the Lucha Bros, I have a newfound respect for them. It was such an emotional moment. I was on the edge of my seat the entire time. I don't know what else to say. It's like, all I know is that it was a badass match. And I mean, hey, the Young Bucks were good as well. But yeah, thank goodness that the Lucha Brothers finally become the new tag team champions. Then we have the 21 Women's Casino Battle Royale, where the winner gets a title shot against Dr. Britt Baker for the AEW Women's World Championship. So the Battle Royale consists of various talents like Hikaru Shida, Riho, Emi Sakura, Jade Cargill, Abaddon, Rebel, Nyla Rose, and especially Thunder Rosa. Wait. Where's Serena Deeb? When is she planning to make her return to All Out? Why didn't I see her in the gauntlet? Like, where the hell is she? Well, it looks like, unfortunately, we didn't get to see Serena Deeb's in-ring return. But what we did see is the debut of another great talent, and who's been teasing her return to the ring for several weeks, and that is Ruby Soho, most recent free agent, and she managed to be the final entrant, the Joker of the Battle Royale. Holding her own, she was kicking ass, and she managed to survive to the very end. It actually came down to her and Thunder Rosa. They had quite the standoff. It was a great matchup, but surprisingly, Soho tossed Thunder Rosa over the ropes, and she has made it clear that not only is her destination AEW, but it's also the Women's Championship. Can it get any better than this? We now got the demigod Chris Jericho versus MJF, a possibly career-ending match where if Jericho loses, he has to retire from wrestling. So we got the match. So the match is going. Chris Jericho isn't going down without a fight. Neither is MJF. Pretty interesting spots. You know, even Chris Jericho threw in like a power bomb. Then MJF, he did his heat seeker, smashing Chris Jericho's head on the corner rope. So there were some spots that were just like, oof. Then it came down near the end. We see like pretty much like a heel turn from Floyd, the Bat or whatever, on Chris Jericho, because MJF used it and then did the Judas effect. But then we get this botch calling from referee Aubrey Edwards. She had it as a 3 count, even though Chris Jericho had his foot on the rope by the count of 3. And had the other ref did not interfere and restart the match, MJF probably would have won and Chris Jericho couldn't wrestle. However, they restarted the match. First it seemed like MJF was going to win by submission, you know, because he had the salt of the earth deep on Jericho, and it was hard for Jericho to get out of it. And then he managed to turn around and place MJF in the walls of Jericho, and he won the match. So Jericho is still going to continue his wrestling career in AEW. Ugh. Finally. Wait, there's more? There's more? Yes. Not only do we have more matches coming up, but the next one, it is the long-awaited return of CM Punk in a wrestling ring. He has been on a 7-year hiatus, and he will finally make his AEW in-ring debut against one of the originals and most talented wrestlers in this company, and that is Darby Allin. And let me tell you, when it comes to discussing AEW, the first name that pops into my head is Darby Allin. He is so unique. He defies all logic, all the odds. And just like his in-ring style it's unorthodox yet efficient. So having him as an opponent for CM Punk in his first match in AEW is the best choice. Now, just to bring you up to speed, August 20th, at the first dance of AEW Rampage, CM Punk made his AEW debut at the UC, the United Center. And the crowd was electric, it was fired up, and they also got free ice cream bars. And that's where he made the challenge to Darby Allin and All Out. And here we are. So the match began with, I wouldn't even call it a standoff, but more like a sit-off. Like they were just looking dead at each other while sitting down, you know, in their respected poses. It was pretty cool. And then as the match continued, we got into technical move sets, and CM Punk, he was actually pretty aggressive. I thought that he was trying to kill Darby. Then again, Darby always does stuff that looks like he could shorten his life. But anyways, there was this part where Darby Allin was trying to take out CM Punk with the coffin drop, and CM Punk just sat up. Talk about an easy, funny, yet most effective counter to the coffin drop. But then it's like they were like going back and forth with pins, and ooh, there was some close calls as well. Like there were definitely a lot of holy shit moments. But in the end, CM Punk managed to win it. He may have been on a 7-year hiatus, but he still got it. That match was definitely not a sleeper. Yeah. But I don't know about the other one, because the next one is Paul Wight, also known as the Big, or formerly known as the Big Show, against QT Marshall.
You serious?
Do I really have to cover this?
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
Paul Wight won, and why like have this match? Like this feud doesn't really make any sense. I wasn't feeling it. Shouldn't have been there. I mean, that's my 2 cents. Yeah, the whole QT Marshall, like maybe he should just change his last name from Marshall to Pie. But finally, we have your main event, and that is Kenny Omega versus Christian Cage for the AEW World Championship. Now recently, Christian Cage took the TNA Impact Champion belts off of Kenny Omega the first episode of Rampage. So can he get the AEW Champion belt? So this match was also very intense. Christian Cage was holding his own, he was looking good out there, but Kenny, that dude, he could go from 0 to 100 in a second. I mean, one moment it seems like he is out of steam, but then out of nowhere he has this burst of energy. He's still going hard and doing flips and all this other stuff, but it's like, but hey, Christian Cage, like he wasn't slacking off. Turns out he came up short, and Kenny Omega won the match, and he's still the current reigning AEW champion. Now hold on, there's still a bit more, because after the match, well, we had Kenny Omega and his goons come out and attack Christian Cage. Kenny gets on the mic and he says that no one can beat him, but then the lights go out, and then who shows up? Adam Cole, baby. Now it was already rumored that he would make his AEW debut. It still shocked the wrestling community. The news was buzzing, but it doesn't stop there, because what the wrestling community was also talking about were the rumors that Bryan Danielson would show up at AEW. People were asking like, oh, who's gonna debut first? Is it gonna be Adam Cole, baby? Or is it gonna be the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson? And Tony Khan was like,
¿Por qué no los dos?
because that's what happened. Right after Adam Cole pretty much came back from the dead, and then turned heel and joined the Super Elites with Omega and the gang, Bryan Danielson emerges in front of the audience in the WoW Arena, and he stands alongside Jurassic Express and Christian Cage. Kenny Omega leaves the ring, but they are brawling. Bryan Danielson comes at one of the Jackson brothers, the Bucks or whatever, and he hits him with lightning kicks, and then he nearly took his head off with a push kicks or whatever that he does. And it's oh my goodness, it was unreal. The roof came off. I've never seen something like that happen. To have two big debuts minutes away from each other, it's unreal. It's rarely done before. It's like, Tony Khan, you crazy sick son of a. But see, this is what I like about AEW. The surprises, the great moments, great matches. You feel like a kid in a candy store. There's so many flavors to pick and choose. And those flavors being pro wrestling. You don't have just one kind of favorite flavor. And it's great to be a pro wrestling fan. I would say that this pay-per-view was one of the greatest pro wrestling pay-per-views in this business that I've ever seen. And these are one of those, I believe, 5-star kind of pay-per-views. I hope we get more of that in this company. That's it for today's video. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that notification bell, and look out for any more new content because there are more videos on the way. So stay tuned. Until then, I'll see you all next time right here on Izzyland YT.